Hello everybody, this is Angelika Simpson from Stardust Express. I invite you to my show tonight, which is about truth issues, mysteries, metaphysics, health, spirituality, sacred sites, and I continue to present ancient history and lost civilizations. After I presented the interesting articles and videos I found during my preparation for the show, I will continue to do together some kind of vision games with you, some kind of vision exercises to improve your vision and to improve your mind. I hope you like it and I hope you join me for the show. I'm starting tonight with an article about the Philippines. I found it in the Smithsonian papers and I found this really revealing. The headline is 700,000-year-old butchered rhino pushes back ancient human arrival in the Philippines. The find changes the story of human migration, but scientists still don't know what human species did the cutting. On the Philippines, northern island of Luzon, researchers have made an exciting find. Stone tools and bones from a butchered rhinoceros that date to 709,000 years ago, hundreds of thousands of years before modern humans evolved. The remains aren't the first evidence of ancient human activity found on the island, but they are the oldest researchers could accurately date. In 2013, Australian researchers found nearly a whole rhinoceros skeleton together with 57 stone tools, including 49 sharp-edged flakes and 6 cores. The rhino skeleton had cut marks on 13 of its bones, and both of its humerus bones were cracked open, giving feasting hunters access to its marrow. There were other animal remains as well, including deer, a turtle, a monitor lizard, and a stepodon, an elephant relative, stegodon. The researchers detail the find in the paper published in the journal Nature. To come up with a date, the researchers analyzed both the clay layer where they found the items and the enamel of the rhino tooth. The test suggested the remains are between 777,000 and 631,000 years old. That's 300,000 years before researchers think modern humans, Homo sapiens, even evolved. So, if modern humans didn't cut out the rhinoceros, who did? The paleontologist Van de Berg from the Australian team is of the opinion that it was likely Homo erectus, the first hominin believed to have ventured out of Africa. The species was common in Asia by that time. It's also possible the rhino was butchered by some as yet undiscovered Homo species. The species responsible for the butchery remains speculative since the researchers found no hominin fossil evidence, and many species created the type of tools found in the region. There's also the question of how the ancient humans got to the island nation in the first place. The lead author of the study says that it's most likely that they arrived accidentally, riding on natural floating rafts of mangroves, tangles that could have broken from mainland Asia during typhoons or tsunamis. Much less likely, but still possible, is the idea that they came to the islands using a primitive boat. The latest find also raises the possibility that even older evidence of ancient human activity exists on the island. And researchers are on the case. As the paleontologist Vandenberg says in the press release, now we can go looking in older strata and see if we can find more artifacts or even better fossil evidence. I found this very revealing. We're getting closer and closer to, or ancient further back to human beings. And this article I found in the Smithsonian.com online magazine from May in 2018. My next article, or the next thing I want to present, is from Mystery History Channel, who I like very much. I think it's very, very interesting. Entitled Ancient Tool Marks, Another Academic Contradiction, ? There are countless examples of extreme precision stone cutting, not only in this remarkable past capability visible, and there are many stone walls and fortresses, but also in their exquisite artwork. If we look upon the statues of ancient Egypt, for example, the symmetry along with the proportioned precision present within their statues is not only perfection personified, but unquestionably far too advanced for the so-called academically claimed builders to have achieved. According to the academics, along with their subsequent supposedly accurate writings, these extraordinary feats of artistic perfection were somehow created by a group of individuals who were merely equipped with copper tools. Not only is this claim ignorant of reality, but to create such works of symmetrical accuracy was unquestionably the work of a group of individuals far more advanced than even that of the Victorians, let alone those who thrived on the banks of the Nile more than 3,000 years ago. Not only is this precision present on the Giza Plateau, but it is also found at ancient sites all around the world. Masterfully created statues and structures, often carved straight out of stone bedrock, with such vision and artistic prowess that many now presume that the individuals capable of such feats must have had advanced machinery at their disposal. Most of ancient India, for example, is created with such delicacy and exactness that we today could only accomplish the same with the utilization of modern machines. Furthermore, many scholar and independent researchers, including a number of highly recognized Egyptologists, have reluctantly concluded that many of the basalt, gypsum, and other vases shaped from extremely hard stones, and indeed a number of multi-tons sarcophagus lids were indeed turned into the shapes as we see them today on some kind of ancient enormous slave. This conclusion is made regardless of the fact that to create such enormous stoneworks on a sleigh would have undoubtedly been out of the realms of capabilities for those who have currently claimed to be their creators. Not only do the ornamental artifacts of Egypt and much further afield strongly indicate machine working, but there's also overwhelming evidence of the same machines reminiscent of modern stone-cutting equipment present all over the world. That, conveniently, is quietly ignored by the same individuals who have supposedly unraveled the history of these sites. Pumapunku, Giza's basalt floor, other areas throughout Giza, Peru, Malta. The list goes on. All these sites not only indicate an advanced, highly capable constructor, but also possess countless marks that as of yet we can only explain logically as having been left by precision, quick rotation, stone-cutting machinery. There's an overwhelming collection of evidence which not only flies in the face of current academic explanation, which is proof of an advanced, now lost civilization. Having once been responsible for these sites' construction, they are highly compelling. Somebody remarked to this original video, and I wanted to let you know. He was saying, where are the remains of the copper chisel mega factories? They would need all the copper from Chile to produce the millions of imaginary chisels. Yes, absolutely. I want to continue with another video entitled Advanced Buildings of a Lost Civilization. Megaliths continue to be an enigma of the ancient world and a strong piece of evidence for a lost civilization. There are many of these enormous stones found all over the world. Some incorporated into ancient structures, now turning to dust due to their advanced age. Some found abundant, slowly being engulfed by millennia of geological accumulation, and some of the largest claimed as geological formation. Many of these stones, according to academia, left where they lay due to their immense scale. However, many feel this explanation is an attempt to conceal a once highly capable civilization, rather than an attempt to accurately understand the original intentions of their creators. For example, the stone of the pregnant woman of Baalbek, weighing in at more than 1,000 tons, was long explained at having been left where it was found. This due to its immense size, this having been too large for our ancestors to move. This tale still circulated by certain groups of thought, regardless of the fact that since this excuse was created, this stone has been found of resting on top of another, of an even larger scale, making the remnants of a stone wall of an unimaginable size. The weights that would have been involved in these constructions, their foundations, and indeed the weight-bearing features that were incorporated into the design of the builds are inconceivable to the modern man, let alone our well-studied ancestors, which academia claims as their builders. Structures such as the Great Pyramids were undoubtedly calculated and carried out by a civilization of immense capability. For example, on a much smaller scale, yet still demanding unquestionably advanced knowledge of architecture. A structure like the tree a structure like the Treasury of Atreus, an enormous ancient dome, also incorporates features indicative of advanced civilization. Known as a relieving triangle, the small triangular opening above the structure's enormous 120 tons lintel was included as a necessity to carry weight away from the doorway down the structure's design. This feature included to prevent undue stress on the stonework, undoubtedly contributed to the structure's longevity. These advanced architectural features, along with the original schematics of the building, were created by individuals with an incredibly advanced understanding of building methods. It is clear to all who investigated these features in detail, architectural characteristics shared throughout the ancient world, that they were simply not understood by our less capable, more recent ancestors. The mind-boggling calculations that were accurately made before the structures were undertaken are clear for any architect of the modern age to see. And when confronted with these details, many quickly realize just how astounding these ancient achievements were. This conclusion can be made about the enormous blocks. They were also included in the build. Regardless of the fact these stones were also a necessity to accomplish such feats, they are undoubtedly highly compelling, as they say in the video. While I was preparing my show this week, I came across a video that got me carried away because I found it so compelling and so somehow interestingly made. And I thought, okay, I'm presenting it today. So I started to record, to listen to it all, and thought, oh, fascinating. They're talking about archaeologists that uncovered 50,000-year-old artifacts in a cave to rewrite Australian history. So they go on a remote island off the coast of Western Australia, a team of archaeologists is slowly uncovering evidence of some of the first humans ever to set foot on Western Australian soil. It is believed that the earliest Australians were the first humans ever to leave Africa, while some argue that they went there via a long-lost language. And suddenly I thought, what? 50,000 years is nothing. And the more I researched our ancient history, I come across latest discoveries that the out of Africa theory is not necessarily true. So as far as I have understood, humans started in Australia. And I found, to make my point, I found in the Nexus magazine recently an article that Professor Rebecca Kahn is her name, from Australian University. She was 30 years ago with other professors um, making public the theory that humans and human migration started out of Africa 50,000 years ago. So now she has changed her mind. She is writing now. Her analysis puts the origin of Homo sapiens much further back than 40 or 65,000 years ago, and indicates that the Australian Aborigines arose 400,000 years ago from two distinct lineages, far earlier than any other racial type. In her revised model, Professor Khan highlights gracile Australians and robust Australians as the two groups she thinks spawned the entire human race. Two ancient Australians from two distinct lineages have been found in a dry sandy mound. I wanted to mention that because I realized how easily you can get led away and can get completely be overwhelmed by the information you can find on YouTube, and without thinking, oh, fantastic news. So I realized it in myself how easy it is to get carried away. So with this, I want to finish my presentation for today. I invite you to ask me any kind of questions, to go on the chat. And if there are no more questions, I want to finish off my presentation by giving you some exercises to do for your eyes and your mind. I hope you like it, and I hope you join me with this. So I want you slowly to get ready, relax in your chair, wherever you are. I've got a question, just a minute. Yes, somebody asked me here, what do I think the significances of the man they found? And I think this person referred to what they found in Australia. The significance is that our total understanding of human sapiens, Homo sapiens, Homo erectus, Neanderthals, I don't think any of this is correct, and I don't think our so-called academics know much about dating and history, and I question our whole understanding of timing, timelines, and so an understanding of the evolved Homo sapiens have been, and Neanderthals in modern times, in modern terms. So I think the significance is that we have to look far, far back in ancient history. So in Australia, 400,000 years ago. It might not be long. We find even older skeletons and older evidence of human civilization. So I hope that answers your question. So if you are ready, sitting comfortably in your chair, I want you to remove your glasses, if you wear them, and remove your contact lenses, if it is possible. I want you now to, in a relaxed way, close your eyes and get a feeling, get a sense of your nose. If you want to touch your nose with your hand so that you have got an idea where your nose is in space. And now imagine you have got a magic pencil at the tip of your nose. And with this nose pencil, I want you, with your eyes closed all the time, please, I want you to draw circles into the air. Draw a few, draw smaller ones and bigger ones. Get a feeling for it. Get a feeling for your nose pencil. And continue doing the circles. Have your eyes closed, please, all the time. And now let the circle turn into an apple. Draw the apple and give it all the colors you like in an apple. Paint it all in. And stop when you have finished. Leave your eyes closed. Now I want you to draw a triangle with your nose pencil into the air. And let this triangle turn into a castle and draw the castle into the air. And again, stop when you have finished, but leave your eyes closed. Now I want you to draw a square with your nose pencil and to let this square turn into a box and draw the box. Leave your eyes closed, please, and stop when you have finished. I want to give you today an exercise where we are not palming like we did before when we covered our eyes with the palms of the hands, but this time with your eyes closed and we work with your nose pencil. All I want you to do is with your nose do what I tell you to do, please. So leave your magic pencil on the end of your nose and sketch an apple tree in the center of your visual field. Draw the grayish trunk with its branches stretching up in the clear blue sky. Draw the fingery roots extending down into the rich, loamy earth. Add some apple green leaves. Ask your internal lighting crew for some terrific sunlight to flood the scene and illuminate the shiny red apples that gleam in the branches. Imagine that you walk forward in your field right up to the tree. Smell the aroma of sun-warmed grass and leaves. Reach up and pluck a single crimson apple. Polish it on your sleeve and hold it up to the light. See your face reflected in its glowing surface. Sniff the apple and take a bite. Savor the crunch and the sweet juice that fills your mouth. Toss the apple up into the clear blue sky. Aha! It descends as a red rubber ball. Throw the ball far into the distance. Follow it with your nose. It grows smaller and smaller until it disappears at the horizon. Call the ball back. It reappears wherever, bouncing gaily towards you. Call it into your hands. Circle and examine it with your nose. Has it collected any marks of its journey? Is it ready to fly again? Does it want to leap and sparkle and cover great distance in a single bound? Let it. The red ball is your friend and is available anytime, anywhere, to help you develop flexibility in your imagination and movement in your eyes. So I want you for a moment, please leave your eyes closed. I want you for a moment to stay with the image of the apple tree and stay with the image of the red ball in your hand. And try again to be able to see it clearly in your mind's eye. Your apple tree and your red apple. And with this image in your mind, slowly come back into your body. Feel yourself sitting on the chair. Feel your feet on the ground. Leave your eyes closed, please. And slowly start dusting the room around you. And when you feel you have done a good job, then slowly open your eyes. Be aware it might be quite wide at first. And from where you are now, look around in your environment. See how it feels. It might be a bit clearer, might be brighter, might simply feel good to look around. And I want to do something else today. I want you to continue working with your nose. You could imagine you are Pinocchio. You have got a long magic nose. And leave your eyes open, please. And wherever you are in your environment, I want you to find anything that has got the color red. When you found something, with your nose, paint the color red in whatever object you are finding. Look around, find something. If, in any case, you haven't got any red object, then choose anything that you like to look at and paint it red no matter what. Want you just for today to get a feeling for the color red. I give you a moment to do this, to get into the habit, and to give you some kind of choice, whatever you might find. And now I want to give you homework to do for next week. I want you to become aware the whole week of the color red. Wherever you are, in the bus, on the railways, it does not matter, in your home, in the office. Anything you see is red. Paint it with your nose. Wherever. You shouldn't worry about people looking at you and thinking you're a bit lost your marbles or so. People don't notice. They wouldn't know what you're doing. And if you're on your own, it's even better. So during the week, everywhere where you are, focus on the color red and paint it in. What it will do to you, it would train your color perception. Even if you have no problems with color realization, that you're not colorblind or anything, but you will discover that the reds you're so used to in your daily life suddenly are red, really red, that you would have never noticed before. And what it does as well, it trains your mind to concentrate on one thing only, and it trains your mind to focus. By using the nose as our tool and not the eyes, the eyes can relax and choose in a playful way the objects for your nose to paint over. So I wish you an interesting week, and I would really like it if you give me some feedback with regards to the vision work I'm doing with you. If you find it interesting. Yes, the question is, do we need a diary? No, it's not about how many objects you see and when you see the objects. What I would find interesting for yourself, for your own awareness, is to make notes when suddenly everyday objects that just happen to be red. But once you worked with it, suddenly to realize, oh wow, this is really red. I've never noticed that before. To write down these kind of incidents when something really hits you. So I think that would answer your question. So it's not about making it some kind of homework. Or red, any kind of shade. It doesn't matter. Any kind of red. But only red this week. And it doesn't matter if you can see the object clearly. As long as it's red, you just pretend you do a proper job. You paint it all over in red. So I would really like you to give me some feedback on my vision work here. And I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed my presentation. And I say goodbye for now and hope I speak to you next week again. Thank you. Goodbye.
Humanity has been on an epic journey of discovery, learning the truth about the world we live in. New discoveries about the true origins of humanity, ancient history, free energy, as well as the systematic corruption of world governments are now on the forefront of our daily reality. Is the world headed towards destruction based on control and power? or as an opportunity now being presented to shift and uplift into a higher consciousness. My name is Mel V, co-founder and creative director of Conscious Consumer Network, an independent broadcast network that was launched on the 1st of January 2015. In the last 3 years, Conscious Consumer Network has broadcast over 2,800 shows in multiple languages, featuring guests from across the world, whilst creating media that is aimed at the creation of a free, fair, peaceful, just, sustainable world. Conscious Consumer Network provides full training and an interactive support network for all broadcasters, and we are always looking for inspiring and educational content.
Hi, this is Lainey Liberty.
And this is Miro Siegel.
In 2018, Conscious Consumer Network has expanded to multiple broadcast locations, increasing our availability and reach across the world, remaining on the cutting edge of independent media. If we wish to create a better world, we must first create better media, geared towards real education instead of indoctrination.
You guys really are what changing the world is going to be about. It's educating kids at a grassroots level.
Having become a pillar of stability in the turbulent world of independent media, we have even more going on in 2018. Conscious Consumer Network is a publicly funded network, and we rely on all of you to keep us on the air. Show your support for independent media by donating to our 2018 Network Support Fund. Dare to seek a better world. Support independent media.